Mary, you knew my husband a long time.
Oh, yes, madame.
And you remember what he always said about these things?
That it was impossible for the dead to return.
This proves he was right. For if it would have been possible, I would have had some sign from him in the past 10 years.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Queens, New York. Today is a holiday, technically, and so the cemetery I was coming to, Machpelah Cemetery here in Queens, doesn't seem to be open. But there's a lot of cemeteries around this area, and they're all kind of attached. Some are separated by big streets, and they're open. So I went to one beside this cemetery, and now I'm just walking. So I don't know if I'm going to like run into a fence or if I'm going to actually get to where I'm going. I'm going to Houdinis Grave, Harry Houdini. I want to be like Harry Houdini and be the one to make the great escape. If you're Canadian, you might remember that song from Con-Can. That was when I was little. That was a good song. They were a good band. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Harry Houdini. I did a video on him about his final days in Detroit. I'll put a link to that below. So I've always wanted to come out here and see his grave, and I never have. And you're coming with me, and we're going to walk together. I'll tell you about his life, what I know about Harry Houdini. This is very strange. Like, I don't know which cemetery I'm in right now. I'm just kind of following the path towards where I'm assuming Harry Houdini is. It's an old cemetery, that's for sure. Now there's some sort of party going on. Yeah, it's very bizarre out here, to say the least. But yeah, Cypress Hills Road is right there, street. It's right there, like a main road. But there's cemeteries all clustered about here. But I think Harry Houdini's just up here, about 2 or 3 minutes walk. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. I don't know if I can get in, but let's go. There's nobody here except for that one car playing loud reggae. And I like reggae, but I can't hear it loud enough. It's loud enough to wake the dead. Let's walk. Well, now you can hear it a little bit more. Going up Cypress Hill Street, the music. So I was walking this path, and I'm not sure. Well, there's a big stone wall. Well, I think I can scale it. I don't know. Well, what do I know about Harry Houdini? I mean, he was Hungarian. He's a skateboard artist. He jumped off bridges while handcuffed and wearing leg irons. Lots of famous pictures of that. He came out of milk cans. filled with water, and then he devised a Chinese water torture cell in which he was submerged and suspended upside down by his ankles. There's usually, you know, I mean, there's a way to explain all of it, but it was crazy, especially for that time period. In 1915, I know he nearly suffocated during a stunt in which he was shackled and buried under 6 feet of dirt. But then, October 31st, Halloween, 1926, I believe, that's when Harry Houdini passed away in Detroit. And yeah, that's all on my other video, but I'll give a brief synopsis of what happened to him. It's crazy. And now, look at this place. See, now this is the road that separates the two cemeteries, and the gates to this one here are indeed closed. But there's a walkway going right through. Alright, let's talk about Harry Houdini's death while I get there. You can take a look at this beautiful cemetery while I walk. The death of Harry Houdini is incredibly fascinating for so many people, and there's lots of theories and conspiracy theories regarding his death. I'm just going to give you the straight up facts, and then you can watch my video I did about his death in Detroit, and take from that what you will. But on the afternoon of October 22nd, 1926, two McGill, that's in Montreal, university students visited Houdini's dressing room. And according to reports, Houdini was looking through his mail when one of the students, J. Gordon Whitehead, asked Harry if it was true he could withstand any blow to the abdomen, as the magician had previously proclaimed. Harry responded that he could if given time to brace himself, at which point Whitehead hit Houdini 4 times in the abdomen under the impression that Houdini had indeed braced himself for the blows. Throughout the evening, Houdini performed in great pain. He was unable to sleep and remained in constant pain for the next 2 days, though he did not seek medical help. When he finally saw a doctor, Harry was found to have a fever of 102 degrees and acute appendicitis. He was advised to go to the hospital for immediate surgery. However, Harry decided to complete his show as planned that night. Now, what you're watching now is not footage of his final performance or anything. This is his straitjacket escape in 1923 in Houston, Texas. I just think it's really cool, so I'm going to put it while I talk. By the time Harry arrived on stage that night, though, his fever had risen to 104 degrees. He was tired and in pain, and his assistants often had to step in and offer help. Audience members reported that Harry missed his cues and seemed in a hurry. By the middle of the third act, Houdini asked his assistant to lower the curtain as he could not go on. When the curtain closed, Harry collapsed where he was standing and had to be carried back to his dressing room. He continued to refuse medical care until the next morning, when his wife Bess insisted he go to the hospital. Harry relented and had his appendix removed. However, it had already ruptured, and doctors did not have much hope for his survival. On October 31st, 1926, surrounded by his wife and brother, Harry Houdini died. His funeral was held on November 4th, 1926 in New York, with more than 2,000 mourners in attendance, and he was buried here in Queens, New York. Harry Houdini's beloved wife, Bess, however, she died in 1943. She's not buried here at this cemetery. She was not allowed to be buried alongside her husband, as she had requested, because she was not of Jewish descent. She's buried in upstate New York at the Gates of Heaven Cemetery. I'm not just making this up. I'm like really confused. I'm confused about how I'm going to get back to my car. But I believe I'm in the right cemetery now. This is very, very strange. And I know that at one point this cemetery was left it was abandoned pretty much and left in ruins, and then the city took over finally, I think in the early 90s, and kind of restored it and take care of it. But you can see some old graves here that are still toppled over and things like that right here. That one's a couple of right over there. There's a gravestone. It's propped up against another one. A couple of old ones right up there. Yeah, one of the more bizarre cemeteries I've been to. And really tightly packed in, to say the least. Now, it doesn't look like there's a pathway through, but I think, I'm not sure which way I'm going. That I can't get to because there's a fence there. I'm just kind of walking through. I hope there's no fence on the other side of those buildings, because I think Harry Houdini's on the other side of those buildings. Oh man, it's impossible. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get to the other side of this building and I'm going to get totally turned and not going to be able to get through. But there's some newer graves here, 2002. I thought it was all old ones. Oh man. I guess where I was just up there. That's where I walked from. So I'm guessing I can probably go back up that way and shoot down, because I'm pretty sure he's right over here, nearer to the road. Nearer to Cypress Hill Street. And it looks like there's a... oh, God. Yeah, I'm not getting through here. Is there a fence? There is a fence through there. There's a little pathway this way. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is okay. Harry Houdini. Should be right here. Here we go. Oh, goodness. I was right. I knew he was around here. All right, Harry. Here we go. Wow. Come back to that in a second. There's Harry Houdini's grave right there. Here in eternal peace slumbers our darling mother, Cecilia Weisz, née Steiner, who entered her everlasting sleep July 17, 1913, as pure and as sweet as the day she was born. June 16th, 1841. That's so sweet. I like that. This is written in Hebrew here. But sacred to the memory of our dearly beloved husband and father, Reverend Dr. Meyer Samuel Weisz, rabbi, and can't read that. August 27th, 1829, died October 5th, 1892. Rest in peace. So you can see a lot of people come out here. This is a beautiful, beautiful grave for Harry Houdini. You can see the people leave cards, dice, keys. Wow. Handcuffs. More cards. I, of course, brought a rock, in keeping with my tradition and Jewish tradition. Wow. This is spectacular. I've got to take some pictures right now. Just give me 1 second. So I believe, Nathan, brother, I have to get these straight, but this is Harry's right here, when the majority of things are left. Yeah, his wife was Wilhelmina. Bending spoons. There you go. Lots of cards. Lots of really cool stuff. Coins, rocks, flowers. So here's his mother, father, and I think Herman was his father's. No, would Herman be the brother? A brother that didn't live very long. I'll get these names right soon. Yeah. So this whole area is for the Houdini family, because I know that's his brother that was a magician, Theodore Hardin. He went about doing good. We miss you, dear. Nathan was another one of his brothers. And there's some nice benches here. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people come out here and do seances, things like that. I know that his wife held an annual seance every year. That wasn't here. Wow. You can see how close to the road. It's Machpelah Cemetery, and right on, right off the main road. Just so coming one of these exits. But I don't know when this cemetery is ever really open. It seems to be closed a lot. This feeds here, the Society of American Magicians, New York. And there he is. right, well that was my visit to Harry Houdini's grave. And yeah, glad that I finally got to come out here and see this. It's spectacular. If you're ever in Queens, New York, I highly recommend it. And I recommend maybe calling ahead, figuring out when they're open. I did, but there's no answer. Maybe you'll have better luck. Now I got to figure out how to get back. You can sit on your couch or wherever you're watching this and relax. I'm gonna have a mild panic attack as I try to figure out where the hell my car is. I won't, not a panic attack, but it's this way, but in the middle of some other cemetery I just left it, which I don't like to do. All right, rest in peace, Harry Houdini and his family. This was awesome. Peace out.